for morning tea, which will still see us running slightly behind time. So, Judith, thank you for joining us. Pleased that you were able to do so, and pleased that we've been able to fit you in a little bit later than expected, but before our morning tea break. So, thank you.
Thank you for having us. Good morning, everybody. The Christchurch 360 Trail, as most of you will know, is a 140-kilometre walking route encircling the city. It was launched with the aid of the council some 5 years ago, despite there being some places where the circuit was not entirely connected. The Estuary Green Edge Pathway is one such area. The slide which you have shows the preferred route with the red dotted line along the edge of the estuary. This is the substance of the Boffa-Miskell report to which I'll talk. The second timeline shows you the deadly slow progress which has been made on this project since 2017. In 2019, at the last moment before the draft annual plan hearing, the project was pulled by the senior park staff and moved back to the planning phase for an environmental impact assessment. It was unbelievable to our committee that such a report should be called for after 4 years of protracted negotiations. Accordingly, the council contracted Boffa-Miskell, a company expert in environmental planning and design, to conduct the assessment. The need for an assessment was probably due in part to the Avon Heathcote Estuary Ihutai Trust, an organisation also supported by the council, who object to the trail, believing its introduction will be detrimental to bird life in the area. So, councillors will be pleased to note that a major focus of the Boffa-Miskell report was, and I quote, the possible impacts on water, wading and wetland birds by increased human disturbance and other ecological effects. It goes on. This report provides an assessment of the ecological values of the area that will be potentially impacted by the construction and operation of the pathway. It assesses the effects of the proposed pathway's construction and use on these values, and it proposes recommendations for avoidance, remediation and mitigation that may be required. It concludes, taking into account these measures, residual levels of bird disturbance are likely to lead to low-level behavioural impacts and constitute a low or a very low level of ecological effect resulting from construction and use of the pathway. So, councillors, in conclusion, it is on the basis of the findings of the Boffa-Miskell report that Christchurch 360 Trail asks the council, 1, to expedite a positive decision on the Estuary Edge project as a matter of priority, using the science-based Boffa-Miskell report to guide its deliberations. 2, the Trail thanks the Council for their ongoing support and especially for the appointment of Rodney Chambers, Coastal Parks Area Head Ranger, as a liaison person to our committee. He's been great. 3, we request that the Council instructs Christchurch NZ to integrate the Trail into its promotion of the city so that the Trail is something that the City Council owns and therefore can make more widely known. And finally, and this is a big crunch point, ladies and gentlemen, finally, along with the Estuary Trust, 360 Trail agrees that dogs constitute the major threat to bird life in the estuary area. Whilst the dog issue was outside the environmental impact assessment, we wish it noted that it is essential that the Council takes action to apply and improve dog bylaw compliance in and near sensitive wetland habitats. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Thanks very much indeed for taking the time to make the submission this morning. And a written submission has already been lodged, is that correct?
Yes.
Yep, so we'll obviously take your comments alongside the written submission that's already there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.